So hi ladies, I created this video as an addendum to your daily video that you're watching here at the beginning of class because a couple of things have significantly changed recently. Um, so first of all, I just really want to say to you all, you have done an amazing job this week. I know that it is a lot to figure out with this new school year and wearing masks and trying to keep 6 feet apart and the new lunch schedule and the schedule with passing in the hall. There's just so much that's different from last year. And then you have one of your teachers out of the building and still trying to work with you, and it's a huge challenge, and I realize that, and I have to hand it to you ladies. You guys have been doing wonderfully. I've been in touch with Dr. Literal almost every day this week, and she's been giving me lots of great feedback. I've been able to see how you've been managing by going through Edpuzzle and looking at assignments on Google Classroom. There's a lot of you who are way ahead of where I thought you would be at this point. So I am just thrilled. And also, you guys have just done a great work. So I really want to tell you, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for persevering in a really challenging time and the time that you've invested into this. And I think that once you kind of get used to this system and you're kind of rolling through it, I'm hoping that in spite of the fact that I'm not there physically with you, that you'll find that this will work out okay for you for part of this semester. So I got a number of general questions, and I really wanted to address them with everybody because I got enough of these questions repeated that I felt it was important to share those answers with you. So one kind of question that I kept on getting was, how do I know what to do? And there's a lot sitting in my Google Classroom, and I'm not entirely sure what I have to do next and where do I look? And the answer is there's a number of places. So I tried to give you a couple of different places in order to look at that information. And I'm hoping that I didn't make too many mistakes and that they all have the same due dates and names and total points. But I do make mistakes. So if there is a mistake, you can just point it out to me and I'll apologize ahead of time because I am sure that when I started doing all these in July that there are definitely mistakes. So one option is when you watch the daily video for the day, that actually should appear in your Edpuzzle account every morning of an A day at 8 a.m. So in this video, I explain what you should be working on that day if you have actually finished everything that was already assigned up to that day. Another place to look for the exact same info is on your Chapter 0 introduction handout that says Start Here up in blue in the top. You work through the topics one at a time by watching the videos, then submitting your assignments or worksheets to Google Classroom. So it should say very clearly on your sheet, if there's nothing to turn in your student checklist, I don't need anything. If there is something, that means I'm looking for something submitted through Google Classroom. And in general, the way I did it is I worked through A through F on Chapter 0, then you moved on to Chapter 1. And when it's about time for you to take an assessment, I have you go back and watch video G, which is about assessments. And then you can return to Chapter 1 content until you're done with the chapter, and then you're going to have information about chapter tests and things like that. Finally, the pacing guide document, which is also posted in Google Classroom it's like a general reference. It isn't under Chapter 0 or under Chapter 1. It has a complete listing of topics with all the due dates, and I'm thinking all of the total points. Hopefully they're all the same again. And that takes you all the way through the end of Chapter 1. And I actually put this in the daily video every day, and it's this big green spreadsheet. So you should have access to all of these, and they all should be consistent, I'm hoping. But there's 3 different places for you to look. So next question that I received was about why there's all these things posted in Google Classroom. I realize it's overwhelming, and I'm sorry for that. But I decided that it was best to post everything for Chapter 0 on the very first day of school, so that way people could work through it at their own pace. And you'll notice some people are getting through things faster than others, and that is okay. If we're staying close to on pace, we're going to be fine. And then I recognize that some people would be ready to start Chapter 1 stuff probably on Friday, and a few people actually got there on Wednesday. So I had actually set up to post everything for chapter 1 on the second day of school. Now you're not going to see any additional assignments or videos posted until we get to the chapter 1 test. At that point in time, I will have another video set up explaining how we're going to handle the chapter 1 test, what you're going to need to do. And I will also be posting probably the entire chapter 2, or maybe I'll do it in 2 batches, as we're getting close to the end of chapter 1. So this is all you're going to see for now. That's sitting in Google Classroom, and you should be able to look at it in your calendar view and just see the few things that are actually due that day and hopefully where you stand on them. Another thing is the online textbook. So you should not have to pay for access to the textbook. The school purchased those textbooks. We have digital access for them. So when you go to pearson.com mastering and you enter my instructor course ID, which is that SHIC 57435, I should have received these access codes before, but I didn't. I did get them earlier this week, and so I have shared those out to you. I know that there are like 29 students who were in there as of Thursday afternoon, so a little over half. So if you want to access the online textbook, this is how you do it. I am not personally going to assign anything from the online information that's there, but if you don't want to be carrying around the textbook or want to have access to it online, this is the way to do it. So on your MOP app assignment that's due today, it does say on your student checklist that there should be something that you do because you should have already purchased the app. You're going to be logging in. And so then I'm going to ask you to prove to me that you've logged in and you've set it all up. So what I'm asking you to do is to take a screenshot within the program. So once you've downloaded the app, entered your student information, you're going to end up clicking on the middle icon, and it's going to have a little image of the brain, and it's going to say mine's on time. And you select go at the bottom, which is kind of like enter, and you're going to select marathon mode. So from here, you're going to take a screenshot because this screen actually has your name, your assigned student ID, and the teacher code displayed. And this way I can verify that you are using the correct student ID and the correct teacher code. So you're going to do this in both apps, part 1 and part 2. So you're going to submit 2 screenshots. This PowerPoint is up on Google Classroom. And in addition, I put in the Google Classroom stream this information. So if you are not looking at this information at the end of the video and you need to go back and check this, it is in your Google Classroom stream. I will also put this PowerPoint up on in your Google Classroom. So again, this is to get credit for completing this pre-work and setting up your MOP apps. The personal update is as I had to postpone my surgery. So last week, my daughter ended up in the hospital and she has some other issues, and we are meeting with a surgeon next week. We met with another specialist this week. And so I really had to pause my surgery because I recognized that it was too much for all of us here for me to have kind of major surgery, as well as then maybe having my daughter still in the hospital. So unfortunately, that's going to mean I'm not going to really be back at school until after my surgery and recovery. But this does mean that at least for right now, I'll be able to interact with you guys more, and that's why I've been responding to emails and entering grades. So I'm just going to ask you to have patience with me, bear with me. I will do the best I can until we get my daughter's situation figured out and we meet with the surgeon next week. I don't really know what my timing and everything's going to look like. So I'm going to be setting up some virtual office hours, and I'll be setting up some meet times to help out anyone who is struggling. So if you need like help and it's not urgent, feel free to email me. I do try to answer it, especially if it's a fairly short or quick question. You can also ask questions on the survey. I am answering those as I go through them, and that's a really good way to interact with me. if you don't want to email me, or you can just ask it on the survey. And if it's something that seems to be a common theme, I will go ahead and do a little video like this to just be able to announce it to all the rest of the class. So there's an additional survey for today. I can't edit the one that I had originally created for today without the link changing, so it was just easy enough to make a new one. So I'm trying to determine who really needs help right now and how urgently help is needed. I know Dr. Literal has been doing a lot to answer questions and help you guys getting set up. But if there's something else that you need from me, I just want to be able to be certain that I know that. If you're fine and don't need help, I still want you to say that to me in the survey. And if there's somebody who really needs help this weekend, I can arrange a Google Meet with anyone who needs it. And in this survey, I'm also asking kind of what time frames during the day would you prefer a Google Meet. I'm trying to avoid class time because that can be really distracting to the rest of your classmates if you're trying to talk to me and they're trying to work. So I'm looking at alternative times. So in wrapping up, you ladies have done an amazing job this week. I am so proud of you, and you should be proud of yourselves. So great job, and I look forward to seeing your answers on the survey, and good luck today.